Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Dear friends, I am very delighted to get this opportunity to speak this evening from the premises of Jagadguru Sannyasa Ashram in Rishikesh, at this beautiful place with spiritual vibrations, being looked after and being guided by our own Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giriji. I compliment him and all his team for putting together these spiritual programs. In this satsang, I would like to touch upon the topic of happiness and suffering in the light of Bhagavad Gita. Someone said to me just 2 days ago, I was at Uttarkashi, and her question was, what do you do? I said, I write, I speak. What do you write on? What do you speak on? She asked. She happened not to have much background of Vedanta. She was visiting a center where I too was present for some reason. So I had to answer her question from the scratch, as they say, or as they say in science, starting from first principles. What do you write on? What do you speak on? I said to her, well, I guess I speak on and write on living. She again asked me, what does that mean, writing on living? Then I came to the topic which I am now going to elaborate. I said, when I say I write on living, it's all about ending sorrow and experiencing happiness. It's about happy living. Vedanta is perhaps the most elaborate, precise, exhaustively researched subject on the pursuit of happiness. Vedanta, which is another name for Upanishads, is all about Paramananda Prapti, gaining supreme happiness, and Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti, putting an end to sorrow once for all. Sorrow should never return. So it is about happiness and it is about ending sorrow. As all of you know, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gives his teachings starting from the second chapter of the Gita all the way till the 18th chapter. And none less than Pujya Akhandananda Swamiji Maharaj of Vrindavan, whom our Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giriji also highly regards, none less than Akhandanandaji said that Bhagavad Gita should be called Ashokopanishad. And he defended that statement by pointing out that right away in the 11th verse of second chapter, Sri Krishna chastises, teases Arjuna saying, Ashocyan anvashochasto. Arjuna, what is this you are doing? You are grieving over what should not be grieved over. And in the last shloka, that is, as far as Sri Krishna's main body of teachings goes, it is again said, Ma Shucha. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Ahantva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shucha. Do not cry. Friends, I trust most of you have been long time students of Bhagavad Gita, but like it happened to me the other day when this lady from Pune met me in Uttarkashi and asked, "What do you write on?" For a moment, I didn't know how to answer her because if I said Vedanta, she will say, "What is Vedanta?" If I say Gita, she'll say, "What is Gita?" If I say I write on Upanishads, she would ask, "What are Upanishads?" So I had to answer it starting from first principles. You also, in spite of having heard hundreds, if not thousands of Gita lectures, may sometimes find yourself in a tight corner when somebody asks you, "What is it all about? You are attending those spiritual classes." I tell you, you may also say, when I say I study Gita, I study the science of Ashoka. Shoka means sorrow. Shoka means suffering. Shoka means misery. Ashoka Upanishad, the great spiritual teaching whereby sorrow comes to an end. Therefore, from second chapter to 18th chapter, if I pick all the shlokas which talk about ending of sorrow or coming upon profound and lasting happiness, this 1 hour will not be enough. I will have to extend my stay at this Rishikesh ashram to complete this topic or do justice to the topic. I know Abhishekji will be happy, you know. So I would do that some other time. But for now, in this session, I will take some selected instances in the great ministry of the great charioteer of Arjuna, or the blue boy of Vrindavan, as Puja Swami Chinmayananji used to call Sri Krishna with great love, with great devotion. In the ministry, in this great instruction that he gave, there are so many wonderful contexts. For example, right in the second chapter where his teaching begins, he talks about how you and I fall and how you and I can rise also. Every one of you, I'm sure, knows those two shlokas. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Upajayate and so on. It is in thought that we unnecessarily get curious about some happiness that is in money or position or power or sense objects or this or that, and then visualize more and more. Then we get attached, and what was unreal, what was actually peanuts, becomes real and very heavy for us to the extent that without this television, without that, nowadays I shouldn't say television, without this smartphone, I cannot live. Other day, somebody overheard someone saying in the next room, "I cannot live without you." They thought it's an old Hindi film dialogue, a boy saying to some girl. Later, they found it was about a mobile, that he was addressing the mobile. "Oh, dear smartphone, I cannot live without you." Smartphone or a boy or a girl or this, Krishna talks about how beginning with dhyana. Dhyana here means thinking about some objects, and I get enmeshed in a whole lot of psychological issues where our buddhi, our discrimination, our ability to see what is right and what is wrong goes for a sixer, goes out of the window. Buddhi nashat pranashyati, and we begin to suffer. So without delaying, let me tell you now itself, suffering is more and more in life if we get more and more in the web of thought, in the network of thought. Thought is illusion. Thought is a magic show. Thought is a, a big trap that you and I have right with us. We can get stuck in that. So what is the way out? In that very second chapter, Sri Krishna says, no matter how strong your senses, indriyas, seem to be, for you and I sometimes get frustrated. Our tongue wants delicious food. Our eyes very much like to see some beautiful forms, so on and so forth. No matter how strong the senses are, there is a grand old medicine for this ailment called samsara. Therefore, we are eager to know what it is, and Sri Krishna says, Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matpara. Dear friends, with confidence I can tell you that I am not exaggerating when I say, if you forget all Gita and remember just this uh, half shloka, yukta asita matpara, not even half, it's a quarter. Tani sarvani sanyamya, one quarter. Yukta asita matpara, second quarter. Vashehi yasyendriyani, third quarter. Tasya prajna pratishtita. There are 4 quarters. One quarter. In United States, nowadays I don't know whether the value has changed. Many places you want to park your car for just a few minutes at some place, you drop quarter dollar. That one quarter, that coin is very handy. At a lot of places, for getting something, drop a quarter and the machine responds. So here it is quarter in the sense of pada. One pada of the shloka. Yukta asita matpara. Oh, I should tell you those who may not get the meaning. Asita matpara, there again is the main advice. Stay focused on me. Sri Krishna says, you did a mistake over years, maybe over lives, but all that can be undone. What was the mistake? You actually became Vishaya Paraha, Shabda Paraha, Sparsha Paraha, Rupa Paraha, Rasa Paraha, Gandha Paraha, some smell, some taste, some touch, some form, some sound was so appealing, attracting, and tempting that you got obsessed with that. Oh, I want to hear that sound again. Oh, I want to smell that fragrance again. That is Vishaya Para. That is where you dug your own grave, my dear. Now became Bhagavat Paraha. Yukta Asita Mat Paraha. Yukta means connect or collect yourself, gather yourself. You got disconnected from yourself, Sri Krishna points out. Your blunder, your fall was not because somebody let you down. Sometimes you and I sit down with our hand to our head. Oh, that friend let me down. My own spouse let me down. My own father-in-law let me. We blame X or Y. The spiritual science, Adhyatma Vidya says, if there is somebody who has let us down, it is we ourselves. We have let ourselves down by knowingly falling into the trap of Vishayasakti. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam Muktam Nirvishayam Smritam is how Amrita Bindu Upanishad says. You and I can see the truth of this in our life. So friends, in just the contents of my present talk is in these 2 parts. You want to suffer more? Do Vishaya Dhyana. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. You want to be free? You want to move more and more towards happiness? Do Bhagavad Dhyana. Interestingly, Dhyana in Sanskrit means sustained thinking. And dhyana leads to your fall if you do dhyana of Vishaya, Sabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. Dhyana leads you to liberation. If you do Bhagavad Dhyana, you choose. Yesterday I got a bit of a comic strip, just one frame, where it doesn't need explanation at all. There are two counters side by side, and in front of one counter, there's a long line. Oh, there are hundreds and thousands of long line. Everybody wants to go in. Another counter, after which there's a door. Nobody is at the counter. There was a caption below the comic strip. Which line do you want to join? The first line has thousands of people. Second line, there is nobody. If you join, you will be the first person. Okay, what are those two counters? The first counter is hospital. It seems all humanity want to get admitted to hospital. You may wonder, no, we don't want to go to hospital. I'll explain. Give me 1 minute. When I tell you what the second counter is, you will agree with me. Before even I explain. The second counter is yoga. Somebody has opened a yoga class. Nobody wants to join. Whereas, because they didn't join yoga class, before they did not do yoga, because they did not do japa, because they did not, do Bhagavad Dhyana, every one of them fell sick. Some are physically sick, some are mentally sick, some are sick both ways, some have become schizophrenics, or to use medical language, some have become psychotics, some have become neurotics, some have become lunatics. I'm never tired of sharing my old joke. Psychotics build castles in the air. Neurotics frequently visit them, those castles in the air. Lunatics go stay there, and psychiatrists collect rent for that. If in your town there is a good psychiatrist, share this joke with him, but tell him just to boost his spirits. Well, my friend, you are a good psychiatrist. Like any psychiatrist, you too collect rent for the castles that psychotics, lunatics, neurotics visit, stay, etc. But you being a good psychiatrist, after collecting rent for some time, you at least vacate them and send them back on the earth. There are many bad psychiatrists who ensure that these psychotics, neurotics, lunatics stay in the castles in the air. So, why have all of us become sick? Because we don't join the line to yoga. Yoga itself becomes yukta. Yukta asita matpara. If you join the line called yoga and step by step, day by day, you integrate yourself. Today you may say, but I can't meditate on God. My mind wanders. That is where all of us start. But if we practice, if we are regular, we will see that we have the ability to become Bhagavad Paraha, Bhagavad Asakta. Therefore, to move further, in the second chapter, Sri Krishna has given it. Vishayadhyan leads to your fall. It is self-created. Bhagavad Dhyana sets you free. Then in rest of Bhagavad Gita, the genius that Sri Krishna is expresses that same teaching in umpteen ways. Third chapter is called Karma Yoga. And he tells us how when we do karma with the spirit of serving others, it is movement towards happiness. Though first it doesn't look like that. Once I was trying to help somebody in Varanasi in a certain context. My own colleague in a certain setup said to me, why are you going? Let him do his job on your own. Why are you getting into it? I said, that person is a bit old. I thought I will help him a little. Swamiji, this is where, you are making a mistake, he said. Don't pick up others' bags. He advised me that don't pick up others' bags was supposed to be literally true as well as supposed to be an idiom. Don't pick up others' bags. That means, you see how you can get richer and powerful and you can relax. Don't worry about others' problems, he said. I never liked it. So, Karma Yoga comes across as foolish for a lot of people in this world. A lot of people believe that if you try to help others, you will be nowhere. You first help yourself, at least till you are 50. When you are 48 or so, that figure changes. Till I am 60, I am going to be selfish. When you become 57, 58, again you say, till about 70, I will live for myself. After the 70th birthday, I'm definitely going to start Karma Yoga. Believe me, trust me. And God knows whether one stays till 70, age of 70. So one goes on postponing. Sri Krishna, without mincing words, says, though Karma Yoga is best expressed in the third chapter, I mean exclusively and exhaustively, in the fifth chapter there is a shloka which I have been fond of for all these 4 decades. It says, the in contrast, it puts this Phalasakti and the inner detachment to Phala. It is said, Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kama karena phale sakto nibadhyate. 12th verse. 5th chapter, 12th verse puts it so plainly. Karma phalam tyaktva. Reduce your emphasis on what will I get in it and increase your emphasis on how can I be of help to somebody, which in no way means you are getting foolish. It's not a suicidal step. On the contrary, it is a wiser step. Even in modern management, they have a formula. Think win-win. Do something where the so-called others and you both are in the direction of victory. So Sri Krishna says, karma phalam tyaktva. If you can reduce your hankering after your own rewards, your own gratification, your own enjoyment, your own getting rich, etc., that is karma phala tyaga, you will get shanti. Naistikim shanti. It is peace born of a certain nishtha, naistiki. What nishtha? Though the whole world is pulling you, tempting you towards just making your goals, making it to your goals, right? You stay firm. Nishtha means stay firm. You say, I know I can make a lot of money and forget about these people who have some problems, but I don't want to do that. I will take care of myself. God will take care of myself. I'm not being foolish or lacking in common sense, but I think I can help this lady. I can help that man. And I think I can continue to serve my elderly parents. I can continue to do a little at least for my, all of us have colleagues, students. There are always some people around us for whom we can do something. If we stay put in that spirit of service, nishtha, then there is a naistiki shanti. Whereas ayukta, the disintegrated person, the person whose vision has got disturbed, phale sakta, always interested in where will I reach, when will I shine, when will my name come in the media, etc. That person is called ayukta, phale sakta, nibadyate, gets bound. I must tell you, I said the topic that I will speak on this evening is happiness and suffering. If you take original Bhagavad Gita, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, in English letters, put it in Microsoft Word, and search for happiness and suffering, you won't get it even once. First of all, it is in Sanskrit. Lord Krishna doesn't use the word happiness. Secondly, apart from that Sanskrit and English difference, Sri Krishna doesn't use the same word Sukha and Dukkha. Some places it is Sukha and Dukkha. Some places it is Bandhana and Mukti. Some places it is Shanti and Ashanti. Some other places it is Prasada and maybe some other Vedana or something. So there are different words, but all of them point to one matter, one theme, the way to suffer, the way to enjoy truly, not superficially. The way of liberation is advised in the Gita, and the way of getting enmeshed in self-created suffering is described. Now go over to fourth chapter. Not one, not two, not three. Some 12 sadhanas are given. It is like Lord Rama releases arrows one after another from his bow. One after another they shoot. In Gita, Sri Krishna releases instructions one after another. Various yajnas. I am referring to the number of yajnas in chapter 4. He talks about yajnas and at the end says, Evam bahuvidha yajnaha vitataha brahmano mukhe. Bahuvidaha yajna. The word yajna is used to imply in this context numerous spiritual sadhana. Daivame vapare yajnam, one Daiva yajna, another Brahma yajna, another Sanyama yajna, another, pranayama also is a yajna. I was trying to quote the shloka at a certain place. Dravya yajnastapo yajna, yoga yajnastata pare, swadhyaya yajna, jnana yajnascha, yataya samshita vrata. Everything is a yajna. I am sitting in Rishikesh. My mind goes to Pujya Swami Tapovan, who also used to pass through Rishikesh and then, of course, settled in Uttarakanshi. My mind goes to Swami Shivananda. Some rich man had come to Shivanandaji saying, I have all the wealth, but I have no peace of mind. My own wife and children don't like me. Give me some spiritual sadhana. And Swami Shivananda said, I have noticed you coming to the satsangs in the evening. That is good. But today evening, don't come inside the hall. I'm telling you a spiritual practice. And instead of the word yajna, Shivanandaji used the word right here in Rishikesh. He used the word yoga. See, yajna, yoga, etc. in a larger sense refer to spiritual sadhanas. Bhakti yoga, Raja yoga, Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Kundalini yoga, so many yogas. So to this rich man who had no peace of mind, Swami Shivanandaji said, this evening onwards, for some 7 or 8 days, don't come inside the hall for the evening satsang. When all are inside, stand outside and do this yoga. The rich man said, which yoga should I do? He said, boot polish yoga. Boot polish yoga. What is boot polish yoga? When all are inside doing bhajan or listening to a talk by me, you take everybody's shoes or chappal, polish them and put it orderly over there. Then vanish from there. Nobody should know who did this. Do this every evening. Then the rich man did it, and it had such therapeutic influence on him. He realized that he should not have blamed his wife or children or X or Y. He realized that though I made a lot of money with hard work and with smart choices in business, etc., yes, I have been arrogant. I have been giving to everybody an impression that I know it and they don't know. I have not been patient. I have not been listening. I have always been issuing orders. And when I got a chance, I mocked at them. I made fun of their lack of some business sense and showed my own pride of my being an expert in the business or whatever else. So I have been very egoistic. Even as he was polishing the shoes of devotees sitting inside, this rich devotee understood the errors that he had committed and his ego started melting. So Shivanandaji here went one step further, or he extended this concept. Sri Krishna says, whether it is devotional prayers or yoga daily, or japa, or serving people, or the Vedic yajna, that's called Daiva yajna, or one in a million could rise to the height of that jnana, Shuddha jnana. That is actually described in that one shloka, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. That vision that there is no separate I at all, the giver and the receiver, or in the context of a home or havan, the fire, the oblation put into fire, the ladle or the spoon with which ghee or something is offered, the person conducting the yajna, the destination, some heaven he may want to reach that destination, everything. Like in modern times, okay, somebody asks you, some young child comes and asks you, let's say, Auntie, tell me what is this Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi I hear in ashrams before they eat? This Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi they sing before eating a bhojan in ashrams, right? Lot of ashrams. Your nephew or your grandchild may ask you, you know, the grandchild might have imagined Brahma, Brahma, Brahma. Maybe it means this rice is Brahma, this, eatables. You tell, you explain, oh no, it is. Give him the example or give that niece, grandniece, example of a cricket match. The batsman is Brahma, the bowler is Brahma, the umpire is Brahma, the fielder is Brahma. Not just these animate, alive entities. The wickets are Brahma, the bat is Brahma, the ball is Brahma, victory is Brahma, the defeat is Brahma. Rama Rama, what is everything is Brahma? Well, not all may understand or appreciate this, but the truth is, there is a certain vision, liberating vision, where the subject, object, instrument, such divisions vanish. That is also yajna. That is the highest yajna. Sri Krishna talks of all these. And what is the connection with our topic, happiness and suffering? If you and I take some yajna and stay put in that, suffering will go out of the window. And happiness will be matter of our intimate experience, no matter what. As Bhajagovinda would say in simplest way, Yogarato va, Bhogarato va, Sangarato va,
Sangavihinah
Yasya
Ramate
Brahmate
Chittam
Nandati
Nandati.
See, a couple of people even in the audience are so happy to sing this. Welcome. If the shloka itself gives us so much joy, imagine how much joy it should give us if we arrive at where the point, where the shloka is pointing to. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam. If you and I, through some yajna, through some sadhana, through one of these, we don't have to do all of these. We need not try to do all the spiritual practices under the sun. Take one, take two, make a blend of two or three, selected sadhanas and spend some time. on these sadhanas. If you say, well, one of these days I will start spiritual practice, like Eknath Ishwaran used to say, those who say one of these days finally end up doing it none of these days. Just add one N. One of these days becomes none of these days. Or he used to say his books, Eknath Ishwaran's books are very well written with wonderful English and then lot of humor too. He says, people say, one last time I will indulge in this, like a diabetic saying, one last time I will eat ice cream. And because it is last time, he orders not one scoop, two scoops. Last time. Therefore, tomorrow onwards I won't eat. So I will eat two large scoops of whatever butterscotch or vanilla. There are some. What are they? Ishwaran used to say, you say this is the last time, but it becomes a lasting habit for you. You never stop. Once more, next else, okay. One last time I will take. So that takes you to suffering. This fifth chapter is a summary of 2 and 3, 3, 2, 3 and 4. Sixth chapter called Atma Samyama Yoga. Sri Krishna says, if not anything else, just do abhyasa. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamasstiram tatastato niyam yaitat atmanyeva vasham naye. As simple as this. Every time you recognize that, oh, my mind has run away, never mind. Don't blame your mind. Don't condemn yourself. Don't mourn. Rather, as though nothing has happened, just to bring your thought back to God. Atma samstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. If you are a Shiva Bhakta, Shiva samstam manakritva na kinchidapi chintayet. If you are a Rama Bhakta, Rama samstam manakritva. So bring your mind back to Shiva, to Rama, to Devi, to whichever form of God you are attached. Na kinchidapi chintayet. Abhyasa Yoga it is called. Even Sri Ramakrishna, Guru of Vivekananda, used to emphasize. Why don't you go for Abhyasa Yoga? For Abhyasa makes the weak also strong over a length of time. One practices the art of catching one's thought, bringing it back to God. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. The second bunch of 6 chapters are said to be Tatpada Pradhana. One after another, we are given increased appreciation of who God is. You know, in that famous Mahavakya, Tat Tvam Asi, Tat refers to God. Tvam refers to you and me, the sadhana. Asi is the identity. So when we say chapters 7 to 12 are Tatpada Pradhana, what is meant is a careful study of chapters 7 to 12, though it does have other topics, but in a certain way, quite justifiably, I would say, yes, there is much sense in saying so. It is more about God, especially chapter 9. Chapter 9 not only lets us know the glory, the majesty, and the greatness of God principle, for it is said over there, God brings rains, God causes sunshine, God makes flowers to bloom, God makes rivers to flow, God makes trees to grow, God makes you and me think, anything and everything. It is all thanks to God. Number one. Number two, the art of loving God is also narrated so well in chapter 9. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, whether it's a leaf, whether it's a fruit, or a flower, or a spoonful of water, what you offer doesn't matter. Offer something bhaktya upahratam, with love. What I take is love. A rich man may offer a lotus made of gold. A poor man may offer just a little jasmine flower. God doesn't see who has offered what in terms of material value. God sees what is the feeling. Tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayata. And isn't it in the ninth chapter only that Sri Krishna says to us, Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yad juhoshi, dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Suppose you say, I have no time for sadhana, or somehow, sorry to say, my life has get so complicated, many responsibilities. I can't sit separately. Sri Krishna says in ninth chapter, throwing precious light on bhakti. Doesn't matter. Whatever you are doing, you are traveling. Let that travel be an offering to God. As you board the train or the flight, say, may this journey be a flower at the feet of Sri Krishna. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi. As you boarded the flight and 15 minutes, the air hostess came and said, what can I give you? And you said, I would love to have, a 7 Up. She brings 7 Up. But before you drink 7 Up, just say, may Sri Krishna be pleased with this soft drink that I am drinking. Yad karoshi, yad ashnas. To refer to Akhandananji once more, in olden days I used to read Akhandananji quite a lot, many years ago. And some of those have never left me. Those, what I thoroughly appreciated in Swami Akhandananji's works. I being not a Hindi speaking person, all the same, read up quite a lot of Akhandananji at one time, maybe 20 years ago. And so many examples. One of them is how he used to, my good friend in Siddhbari, who is now no more, Swami Subodhanandji, used to say, अखंडानंद तो शास्त्र विचार नहीं करते हैं, उसके साथ साथ शास्त्र विहार करते हैं. शास्त्रों में वो विहार करते हैं, विहरण. वो इतने अच्छी सच बात थी. So here in this example, it was in a book by Swami Akhandananji I read, and I got thrilled with my own love of Sanskrit and whatnot. He said, take this shloka, yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhoshi dadasi yat, where Sri Krishna is speaking to the devotee. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever ritual you perform, offer it all to me, says Sri Krishna. Change it with a little Sanskrit jugglery. Yat karomi, yad ashnami, yad juhomi, dadami yat tapasyami varshneya, tat karomi tvadarpanam. It becomes a wonderful auto-suggestion. It becomes a wonderful dhyana shloka for you. You know what it means is, you slightly modified the shloka and change the syntax, change the structure in such a way that it's no more Lord Krishna saying to a devotee, but the devotee saying to Sri Krishna, Lord, whatever I do, whatever I eat or drink, whatever rituals I perform, whatever charities I make, whatever other things I do, I make all this an offering to you. The devotee is speaking to the Lord. Lord calls Arjuna Kaunteya Tat Kurushva Madarpana. Now you say to Sri Krishna Varshneya. You can't call Sri Krishna Kaunteya. Though you may say he was related to Kunti, but he's definitely not son of Kunti. Varshneya, Vrishni Vamsha Pradeepa. You are the lamp, you are the most celebrated descendant of the Vrishni clan. Varshneya, Tat Karomi, Tvadarpanam, and so on. I must tell you, for a little humor, once I conducted a meditation session in some camp, and a guided meditation. I used this version. Yat karomi, yadashnami, yajjuhomi, dadami yat, yat tapasyami varshneya, tat karomi tvadarpanam. And I translated in English. Everybody was sitting with eyes closed, some 40 or 50 people. I said, meditate in this way. Say to Sri Krishna, whatever I do, whatever I eat, etc., I offer to you. It was good, well received by many, but 2 or 3 people it was counterproductive. They could not meditate. They were so agitated. They thought Swami Chidananji, we thought was good in Bhagavad Gita. He has totally wrongly chanted the shloka. After the meditation session, one of them, actually an elderly man, he came to me with much agitation. Swamiji, Swamiji, if you don't mind, you recited the shloka totally wrongly today. And he showed the Gita. It is yat karoshi yadashnas. Don't do this again. Your reputation will all go. लोग क्या कहेंगे? लोग निराश हो जाएंगे. Then I said I should not be taking things for granted. Sometimes that's, nowadays I'm careful with jokes also. Sometimes some people don't understand the joke and, they will take it literally. There's an art of telling the joke. When the right art of telling the joke ensures that if not 100%, 95% people understand. If you don't tell a joke in a proper way, half of them understand, other half would get agitated. How could Swamiji say this? And so on. Whatever. Anyway, 9th, 10th, 11th, Vishwarupa Darshan. Friends, I don't want to go on and on. Let me touch finally the 18th chapter. And there also there are gems of shlokas. I have been teaching so many texts, but to be frank with you, there are times when I myself have felt I better stop teaching any other text and just to stay with Gita. Maybe it is good for me also, good for others also. But anyway, our own samskaras and karma that makes us go into so many things. Bhagavad Gita is a treasure trove of so many gems, so many precious stones. In the chapter 18, I really don't know which one to select, but offhand, let me tell you, the way to happiness has been so well expressed in the shloka, which is so sweet, 62. Verse 62 says, Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. Where is the need to go on and on with all kinds of technical terms? With whatever little idea you have of God, begin there. Start small, grow big. Begin with a bit of a picture of who God is and approach Him lovingly. Or if it is Devi, approach her lovingly. Tameva sharanam gaccha. In the worst of your times, say to God, God, I don't want to tell you how big my problems are. I want to tell the problems how big my God is. I have full trust in you. I fully have faith in you. Tameva sharanam gaccha. Sarva bhavena bharata. Kayena vacha manasa, etc. In all respects, hold God. And tat prasada, with or by or through His grace, param shanti, you will attain supreme peace. Happiness will be yours. And sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. Friends, these are not just some indulgence in some rosy literature. These are time-tested truths over thousands of years. Especially we Hindus should realize we have a great heritage, and everybody says we have a great heritage, but a large number of us are not doing self-application. We only want to say we have a great heritage. If in 24 hours we put even 24 minutes every day into a chosen sadhana, then as the expression goes in literature, like the moon in the bright fortnight, Shukla Pakshasya Chandraha Iva, we will grow in our spiritual stature. Our suffering reduces and finally vanishes. Our happiness increases. It is good for others, it's good for us also. Once more, I compliment Jagadguru Sannyas Ashram of Rishikesh. I do my namaskars to Pujya Swamiji. We have with us another few sadhakas and spiritual practitioners here. Swami Avadeshanand Ji's Avadhutanand is here from Maharashtra. So to all offline in front of me and a number of you online through this wonderful technology, I express my loving regards, namaskars, and may we all connect with God. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. Happiness and suffering. Such a beautiful way of explaining something so difficult in simple terms. My deep respect to you, Swamiji, for this beautiful, thought-provoking talk. As you mentioned in the beginning of the talk that 1 hour is not enough, and I will say on behalf of everyone, seriously, 1 hour is not enough of listening to you. Swamiji Abhishek Chaitanya Giriji would love to keep you in Sri Jagadguru Sannyas Ashram, and we would also love to have you there so that we can listen to you again and again and again. On behalf of the students of Tattva Anusandhanam, Bhagavad Gita, Narad Bhakti Sutra that we are all studying from Mahamandaleshwar Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giriji, I say a big thank you to you, Swamiji, and we will be listening to you again and again. Everybody online, I will write to say thank you to you. Kindly follow our website, servantsofshankara.com. More satsangs with Swamiji will be announced there. And if you have to say thank you, can you please turn on your mics and you can offer your pranams to Swamiji's and Uncle Daswani, who's also very learned Vedanta exponent here from Hong Kong. Thank you.
We're very glad to have Uncle Daswani with us today.
We are very glad to have him in Hong Kong, Swamiji. He is our Lord Krishna here.
Yes, I have great love and
Pranam, Swamiji.
so happy to see him today.
How are you, Swamiji?
Please come and visit us in Hong Kong, Swamiji.
I would at some time. Maybe we'll come along with Abhishek.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, Swamiji.
I will just turn off the recording. I will just say that there was